Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up?
Not a lot. And then we have Dominic Decker, man. How you doing?
Not bad. How y'all doing?
Good.
Great. Glad to have you here again. You know, we've gotten to interact with you a lot, really over the last year. Got to run a race with you, sort of.
Sort of.
Start a race with.
We got to start a race with you in North Carolina, which was really cool.
Right.
And I would love to just get some updates from you, man. But for anyone who missed previous podcast, just give us a quick update, who you are and what you do and all that good stuff.
Can do. Yep. Dominic. I'm from South Central Pennsylvania, Gettysburg area, which is right down on Maryland border. I am a truck driver, which, if you remember from last time, is right across the street. So I walk to work. Start work at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's an early day, but I mean, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, and I've been done for 2 hours. So it's not too bad. Married 12 years in June, and 3 kids, which are 10, 8, and 5.
Nice.
Got it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Sorry, Kyle. I don't remember when they walked or the time of day they were born and all that good stuff. But
I was almost going to ask.
Nope, I'm one of those dads. But truck driver. I guess started out just kind of running when after our 3rd child was born. My wife wanted to get her body back after 3 kids. 5 years ago, she started running. I thought it looked fun, so I joined, and it hurt more than I thought, and reminded me that I need to be in better shape. So then just started running a couple times a week, and then got into body weight movements, and then it just escalates to where we are today in the past. This is 14, so 5-6 years.
That's awesome.
Here we are today.
There's not many people that look at a runner and go, "Yeah, that looks like fun."
Well, I grew up playing soccer all through school, so I loved to run, and then I just was in the Marine Corps for a while, 4 years, and then got out and did nothing. So getting back in the running reminded me that I actually liked it, but I didn't like the way I felt after so long of not doing it. So I needed to get back doing it.
Yeah, Marines love running.
Well, that's right.
At least your test does. It's the longest. It's the longest test. It's the longest run in the military.
Is it 3 miles?
It's 3 mile run.
Yep, 3 miles. Yep. Yeah, and back in my heyday, I could do that in 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes. Yeah, that's back then. Now
I've always been blown away by Marine Corps, just Marine run times in general. I've had a lot of friends who are in the Marines, and they all have that story of like these sub 6 minute miles for 3 miles for their tests. And I'm just like, how'd you do like that's like, it's not
I couldn't tell you.
Well, I mean, it's pretty common in the Marine Corps. I mean, not everyone's going to do it the fastest possible right there. You don't have to do it under 18 minutes, but I think that's the maximum score, I believe. And so,
I think 18 is the best. Like 15 was just for my own, see what I could do. I already had the 300. It was just see what could happen.
Yeah. I'm just always blown away. I'm like, you realize that's like top, I mean, Marines in general are, but like the top, like echelon of runners even, like it's hard to beyond being like a professional runner. It's insane. Anyway, So I'd love to kind of cover what's happened since we last spoke. I think you said you had some thoughts on the last year of training and what you're looking to do in the future. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, man. Let's start with a recap of the previous year.
Yeah, absolutely. 2019 was kind of my big year, I guess I could say. It was kind of a first for a lot of things for me. Right when we talked, I had done an adventure race, which was my first adventure race last April, which was a blast. We talked about that last time. And then I believe during that podcast in like 2 or 3 days, I had a triathlon sprint coming up. So did that. And I think I was like not top. I was within 3 of my age group, but I think there was 3 in my age group. So I placed.
Nice. Nailed it again.
That's right. But yeah, then since then, so that was my first triathlon. And then in October, I ran my first half marathon. I think it was an hour 39, something like that, half marathon. And the only reason I actually did that one was because my wife wanted to run a half marathon last year. So on the weekends leading up to the October weekend when I did it, hers was that Sunday, I did it on Saturday. But the weeks leading up, we would go with the kids and they'd ride their bikes and we'd find a trail, or they call it a rail trail, like an old railroad that's just like crushed stone, gravel. Yeah. And she'd, do 10, 11 miles and I would run with her, pushing the stroller with our youngest and watching the other 2 on bikes. So when it came time for her half marathon, I was like, well, I guess I'll do it today. I'm training for it, so might as well. But
that's awesome.
Which was pretty fun. I mean, it kind of started a little bad because my son was going to come with me, and not even a half mile, he got a flat tire on his bike. I was like, man, so I had to run back, say, just go back to the house. It's right there. And then I turned around and kept going and then still got an hour 39. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah. And then, November was the first Spartan race I've ever done, which happened to be a wonderful beast.
Yeah. So I haven't, it's good. So just for anyone who's been following along, we kind of gave our recap of the beast and all its glory. So Dominic was one of the athletes who was there. And I'd love to hear about your take on the experience, man.
I actually loved it. I mean, other than the freezing cold, I mean, I was prepared and I was ready for it. And it didn't hurt. It didn't break me down. It was just freezing cold. And I guess it did break me, but it still didn't stop me from running. But towards I think it was probably like mile 12 or 10 or something like that, there was like 2 hurdles in a row. And I jumped up on them. I said this in the Facebook group and did something in my rib. I heard a crunch and I was like, that didn't feel good. Did the other one and it crunched again. And then the rest of the race was just kind of like, oh man, it was hurting to breathe and everything, but I just finished it. And then of course, being a guy, I waited another 2 weeks before I went to see anybody. And it was hurting to lay down. Even it was like there was a rib, something just pushing and it was hurting and everything was just, it was painful. But turns out my rib, like how it goes around your body, ended up dislodging from the spine and was like digging into my abdomen. So every time I laid down, it would push into my stomach. Yeah, it was kind of painful, but the chiropractor, just a little crack and it was back in place. And it was like,
nice.
All right. But other than that, I mean, the Spartan was fun. I mean, it was miserably cold and just, horrible that way. But otherwise, I mean, it was a blast. I loved it.
Yeah, and the further you get away from it, the more you're like, it wasn't that bad. Like, I'll do it again. Joe might have like some red flags in his brain established.
No, I haven't heard Joe say he wants to do it again yet.
No,
it's been a few months. Come on, Joe.
I mean, I'll do a sprint because I'll get my my trifecta over 3 years.
Yeah,
and I'll be good.
It seems like a lot of
the weather should be nicer next time.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of athletes are gravitating towards this Asheville one, Joe, that we've already done, man. So like that one wasn't as bad. Maybe we can get that.
No, actually that was decent. It was.
I hear the elevation's a bit more.
Yeah, it's a little bit more like it's a little more mountainous for sure.
Yeah,
but it was just like a straight 2 to 3 mile climb, like straight up. But then that's about it.
That'd
but
fun.
It's really good though. It wasn't. I mean, I guess it's just weather dependent. I think the one that we did wouldn't have been that bad if it wasn't.
No, I think it would have been a
yeah,
whole bunch of fun if it wasn't so pouring rain and cold.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing that really made it. And then, so did you do anything else for the rest of the year? I mean,
not
November,
big event wise.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't mean, did you just sit around and do nothing for the rest of the year? No, I was wondering if you had any more events that I didn't know about.
Nope, that was all for the year.
And then what are you looking for this year, 2020?
There's a ton of stuff I'd love to do, but I would like to go ahead and get the trifecta pass, but we'll see how that goes. I guess going in order. March 28th, I believe, it's called a 1775K, which is, I think, 11 miles about. But that's it's put on by the Marine Corps Marathon, and it's like a precursor. Like if you finish it, you're guaranteed in a ticket to the Marine Corps Marathon. But the way I was explained it was you're in the Marine Corps Marathon. So I was like, oh, cool. Just finish that. And then I can go do a marathon, which I don't really have any interest in, but it was pretty cheap. So I was like, why not? But turns out you're just guaranteed a ticket. You still have to pay for the said ticket, but you're just guaranteed a slot. So I will probably not be doing that marathon, but my wife is doing that marathon. So, but I already paid for the 1775. So it's like, whatever. Might as well. So it's
cool. A 17.75K?
K, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is, I think, like 11.0 something miles or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good distance.
Yeah, not too bad.
Under a half marathon.
Yeah.
I feel like you could still really push yourself if you're not like a marathon's like you either trained for it or you didn't. But
right, yeah,
11 miles. I mean, anybody can push themselves around 11 miles fast.
Yeah, you could do that pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in April, I think it's the 4th or the 11th, one of those. There's just a local 5K obstacle course. I think it's called Acre Breaker. And our local team, Red, White, and Blue chapter around has a group going to that. So I'm going to be doing that with the wife and a whole bunch of people, which is kind of like the start, I guess, to the Spartan year, maybe. Hopefully, we'll see. Because in May, the Dallas, Texas Super, Dave Luno, he was with us on the last one. He invited me down for that one, the Super down there. So I'll probably be in Texas in May.
That's the one I didn't do that race, but that's the same race I took my kids to.
Oh, okay.
Hey, if you guys go, let me know. It's close enough. So
yeah, we'll let you know. And then another one I have my eye on is a Xterra triathlon, which is an off-road triathlon, and that's in July 12th, I believe. So that's I think it's a 1,500 meter swim in a lake, and then 13 miles mountain bike, and then a 5-mile trail run. So that sounds pretty fun.
That does sound fun. Where's that at?
It's up here in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of these before, but it just sounds like more fun to me than
they have the
typical
worlds
triathlon
that are all over the world, but
yeah,
it's just a local one, I guess. But yeah, then November, there's our kids' school puts on a veteran 5K, which I believe that was during the Spartan that we did in November. So I didn't get to go to that this year, which they were all actually upset because the person who won was one of the kids' dads who did it in 27 minutes. And they're all as soon as I got home, Dad, you could have beat him. You could have won. I was like, what? They're like, they did it in 30 minutes. You could kill them. You have to go next year. So probably going to do that this year and just beat everybody.
Represent,
for the fun of it. That's right. Got to be your kid's hero, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
You missed one in August. There's a 100-mile bike race in there. I think.
Is that August? I thought that was July.
You skipped over it. Yeah, no, it's late August.
No, it's when you and what was that, Trampus, when you guys were talking about that on the podcast, I was like, man, I wonder if I can get down there for that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it.
I'm inviting everybody. And so far I think we have at least 2 people coming, not including me. Well,
Nice.
There'll be 10,000 people in the race, but of people I've invited, I might be responsible for 2 additional entries.
Nice. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Better with a crowd, right?
Yeah.
You guys can start drafting for each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know it's 3. We're up to 3, but I'll keep working on you. Well,
there you go.
One athlete at a time. I gotta.
That's right.
Get it out.
One at a time. Wear them down one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is another. it's not really an event. It's just something I kind of want to do sometime this year, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, but we'll see. It's the C&O Canal, which is Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. From Chesapeake Bay, it goes to like Cumberland, Maryland, and it's 185 miles. It's, the whole idea back in the day, I think 1800s is when it was built, was access by water to the Ohio River from the Atlantic instead of going up around New York. So it's from Cumberland, Maryland, basically West Virginia, to Chesapeake Bay is very slow downgrade the whole way for 185 miles, and it's basically flat. So I want to bike pack that this year at some point with my family, like leapfrog camping.
Oh, nice.
So kind of drop me off at the start, bike for a day. They'll head, I guess, south to a campsite, set up camp, and I'll get there that evening and then camp and get up the next day and go on, and they'll leapfrog ahead to a campground. But
That's pretty cool.
We'll see if that turns out, because indeed my wife with 3 kids tearing down, setting up camp all by themselves.
You might have to wait a day, be like, okay, well.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But 185 miles, it's about 4 days and 50 miles a day, 3 nights camping. We'll see.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too
Shouldn't
bad.
be too bad. Yeah.
No.
But maybe. That'd be nice, but we'll see if that turns out.
So I guess the big question is, man, why all these events? You sound like you have a pretty structured schedule. So why tackle all these events?
It's just fun. I mean, it keeps you kind of focused on keeping your nutrition in order, your exercise routine down. It just keeps you in shape and keeps you moving, keeps you alive, really. I mean, if there's nothing on the calendar or nothing ahead that you're looking forward to, what are you working for other than just staying healthy, which works for so long until you get bored with the routine. So if you have something coming up that kind of scares you a little bit, like that Xterra, I can swim, but I'm not a great swimmer. But like almost a mile swimming is like, we'll see how that goes.
That's a really long swim.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine. But it's just a long swim.
Well, it's like a loop, I think, and then you run back to the start, like 100 meters or something, and then do another loop. So it's not straight 1,500 meters. Okay. There's a little break. But yeah, it's something like that. Just keep something on a calendar, something to work for, something to push yourself towards. Of course, you have to be healthy for your family, as a father, a protector, a provider. But, I mean, you can do that without working out.
Yeah, and I think from a psychological strategy, one, just using your fitness, I agree with you. It's just fun. Mm-hmm. It's fun to go out there and test those things. But I think if you were to sign up for things that cost money, and if you're a person who doesn't like to waste money, that should be enough of a push to get you there. But I've seen people sign up for things and then just not go. Then the second piece of that would be sign up for something, pay the money, and have 2 or 3 friends do it too. Because then now it's like, okay.
Yeah, you got accountability.
Yeah. And so people are generally either in one or both of those camps. It's like you either have a strong desire to not let people down or a strong desire to not lose money. And so one of those would be motivator. For a lot of people, it's going to be both. It's like, I don't want to lose money and I don't want to let anybody else down. And so it's just a huge, if you want to find a way to push yourself, and this is more for everyone else out there, you're doing it for fun and other things, but I think it's a great strategy to keep you going. That's why I like to have things on the calendar too, just to make sure I don't let up. Because I could go through the motions of the training, right?
Oh yeah.
But I know that I need to actually improve and not just go through the motions, and so it makes me try a little bit harder when I'm doing the same workouts I was going to do anyway, which I think is really important.
And with other people, I mean, it's always fun, like that Spartan, right, Joe? It was a blast, because everyone was there suffering together. It's no one was outside of the suffer that was going on. I mean, it sucked, but I mean, we did it. It was fun. It was a good time.
It definitely makes you feel accomplished whenever you finish one of those.
Yeah, now the memory's faded just enough for me to sign up for another one.
Well, I tried to pivot to the Ragnar for some people, but it seems like it was a bad time. But Ragnar would be really cool with people.
I do want to do something other than a Spartan. It just seems like that's what we're all doing. So all right. I do think, I do think I'm going to do the Asheville Spartan. I'm just going to make sure that the dates work but I think I'm going to do that one for sure. And then if I get invited to this Dallas one, it's very possible if I'm not out of town or whatever. But yeah,
sounds good.
That's
it's in May in Dallas sometime. I think the end of May.
Yeah, that the only possible conflict. It's not scheduled yet, but that's my 10-year wedding anniversary. So we will be going on a trip somewhere. We just don't have the dates locked down yet.
To Dallas Spartan, you could do it together.
Yeah, we could. Maybe I could get Emily to do a Spartan. What's the distance? You said it's a super?
The super, yeah.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. Maybe a sprint. Maybe a sprint.
There's a sprint there too.
All right, man. So you are training in your barn, shed? What are we calling
detached garage, I guess. Is what it is.
Detached garage. I always picture it in my head because I've never truly seen, full 360 degrees. Like I always think that there's a horse somewhere like on the other side because you have like
cows right across the street.
Because you have like milk jugs sitting there, for like your lifting and stuff. But it's one of the coolest setups I've seen. It's definitely you get it done. I think, we kind of covered it last time, but what kind of equipment do you have and what's the weather like, I think is a big question I think people would have.
Yeah, well, you see today I'm in short sleeve in February in Pennsylvania, which is very odd. It's actually 60, well, now it's probably 62, but it was up to 65 degrees today and yesterday, which is very unusual for Pennsylvania in February. Usually it's in February, a few years ago, it was negative degrees this time of year, but it's cold, usually in the 20s, usually snowing and windy, but not this year. It's been a very odd year, but this time of year, winters can get below freezing. Summers can get to 100, but not too often, usually just 90s and hot, humid and cold and bitter wind. So it's a full spectrum and you just don't know. It's like today, 65 degrees, gorgeous outside.
That's awesome.
I guess then the gym, the garage here, started out with a sandbag, like a 75-pound max sandbag, and then some adjustable kettlebells from, I believe it's from Dick's, the adjustable ones they have. And then I found some barbell, standard barbell with the screw ends on it with 300 pounds of plates. Yeah, for like $75 on Facebook Marketplace a few years ago. And since, I think father-in-law has added a couple 100 pounds to that. So I have plenty of weight. It's just, they're the standard barbells. They're an inch barbell. And my biggest plates are the 25 pounds. So they're a bit, my deadlifts are deficit deadlifts.
Right.
just how I do deadlifts. Didn't know that until I started watching videos. I was like, oh, all right, whatever. So, but yeah, then I built a little platform out of just some plywood from work that they had left over, and then milk jugs for my safety bars. I have an old tire. I put a strap on and I pull that around sometimes. I have a huge tractor tire that I flip every now and then. That thing's probably over 300 pounds. Some stones I've brought up from out of the woods I carry around sometimes.
Not like actual carved atlas stone, just rocks, just large rocks from my backyard.
Big rocks from out back. Yep. The one of them I weighed after I carried it up here, and I think it weighed at like 200 pounds or something. Jeez, and I was like, wow. I just carried that for like 500 meters. Why did I do that? But I use it every now and then. It's nice. I have a cut off telephone pole that I actually carved out and put handles on for a log.
Damn.
And that thing then was like 150 pounds, but it sits outside and it's waterlogged and kind of has some algae growing on it now. So it's probably heavier than 150 pounds. But yeah, it's kind of turning green. But
true garage gym.
I love it. So you're getting, you got some like strongman stuff going on, man. That's, sounds like some fun.
So that last summer, I was on the weekends. I'd kind of, instead of doing the meet yourself Saturdays, I was kind of putting together my own little strongman things. But I mean, it's like we all know, like it's just fun to lift heavy stuff and move it around like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I had the pole and the stones and the tractor tire, and yeah, it's fun. And then it's out there. My box that I jump on is actually a picnic table that I found in the woods from the creek, washed it down once. and it's like 30 inches high. And I was like, that's perfect. So I just jump onto a table for box jumps.
That's like Ashley making a Concept 2 rower appear. You're just like thinking,
yeah,
man, I really need a box to jump on. And then you go out
wish I could
the
speak
creek and it washes up.
When we first moved in here a few years ago, we were just down through the creek or down by the creek, and I saw a picnic table. I was like, sweet. And then I carried that up and went back down, and there was another table, not a picnic table, the same idea, but without the benches. And so I carried that up. So we have our outdoor furniture because of the creek. And it works for a box jump. So
that's a magic creek, man.
So your creek is better than Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, because it's all free.
Much. It's free. Yeah. Sometimes you might need to put a screw or two back into it, but it's fine. It's a good deal. And the creek floods a lot. Like we get a little bit of rain and that thing will raise fast, but then it goes down fast. So there's random stuff you see floating down. I mean, obviously trees and logs and rocks roll down it, and then you find a picnic table or who knows what else. I saw a boat once down, like a little John boat went floating down. I was like, never mind. I'll let that one go.
Swim after it.
You need a grappling hook. You just throw it out in the water and
just stand down there with a lasso.
Actually, that should just be like standing orders, man. If heavy rain, like you got to go out there for recon.
It looks a lot of fun because there's some really tall rocks down there. Well, you all saw I'm not very tall, but there's some really tall rocks down in the creek. And when it starts raining, they get covered. So it's really deep and it flows really fast. And every time I'm like, man, I got to get the kayak and just see what could happen. see how far I could get downstream.
What could happen?
Well, yeah, because it's a relatively shallow creek until it rains, and then it raises really fast. So all the places that you'd have to walk normally, you could just float. So kind of curious how far I could go in the creek.
Sounds like great Xterra practice to me. I would just forget the
swim upstream.
Yeah, forget the kayak. Just swim it.
That's right. Be fun.
Man, I want to get some updates to these questions, see if it's changed or anything. These are the standard questions we have to ask. So, what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
That one's probably still the same. The Broken Arrow, which is from the first time when it came out. What's that? 2018? The end of 2018.
I think so. Yeah.
It's just same thing. Just wasn't ready for that volume of work with, especially the 1,000 double unders after a bike ride and a run and whatever else was on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd actually like to do that again to see how we fare.
Oh,
although I haven't done many double unders since.
Good news.
Do those again. It's good news.
Murph is almost over for me. So all of my favorite Meet Yourself Saturdays are about to be reprogrammed. You'll start seeing them flood.
And one of your favorites is Broken Arrow, right?
Oh yeah. It might be my favorite of all. Even though I guess if I do that, it's technically just doing Murph again with some extra. But anyway.
Yeah. Who's counting?
Yeah. All right. Has this answer changed? In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I'm actually not sure what I said, but I'm not really sure how to tell you to get mental toughness. You know what I mean? It's you can't say do this and you'll get mentally tougher. It's kind of just, I guess it's related to discipline also. It's just doing the stuff needs done when it needs done, and you get mentally stronger as you do it. It's whatever it might be. Do the workout, do the laundry, do the dishes, just, whatever it might be. It's just doing stuff that needs to be done when it needs to be done, and like not skipping it, not putting it off, not procrastinating. Because it needs done, and it's going to make life easier, make your house look better. It'll make, you'll improve fitness wise. You won't struggle through some events if you signed up for them that way. Just do what needs done when it needs done without complaining.
Yeah, that's a big one right there. Yeah. Without complaining, even if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I think
as long as you do it. Yeah.
I think you nailed it, man. And just everyone has a different threshold, right? Like some people waking up early, training, doing 100 different things during the day. That's easy for them. Other people are like, okay, it's going to be really hard, but today I'm going to drink 100 ounces of water. That's the big challenge, and that's fine. Everyone has their threshold, but I think just doing what you need to do, getting it done, no matter how big or small, is the most important part. I think you nailed it.
Agreed.
All right, man. If you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh man. I'm probably still going to go with adjustable kettlebells. They're just so versatile and travelable. You can take them anywhere. Portable? There you go. Just trying to figure out. That's why we have Joe.
Nailed it.
But, yeah, there it is. Yeah, adjustable kettlebells. Although a normal barbell with bumper plates would be nice. But.
Yeah, I bet.
That's what Kyle... Yeah, Kyle's wife just started working out with him a lot more regularly in their basement gym. Mm-hmm. And, it has to do with two things. Like you have smaller plates, so you're doing deficit deadlifts, but it's also like if like say you could only handle 5s on each side for a deadlift and you only have those little tiny 5s. And I think she was in a similar situation. I don't know if it's necessarily 5s, but there's metal weights and really small. So she was doing super big deficit deadlifts every time. And so, yeah, he got some bumper plates and he was really excited about it. He said it made a world of difference being able to deadlift or her being able to deadlift at the proper height. So I know that does make it. Yeah, a normal deadlift.
I don't know what that's like. I've never done that. So I have no idea.
What's funny is the hardest part of a deadlift is like the first 3 inches. And so to make that more challenging for you is like, yeah, you might just be a lot stronger in the grand scheme of things than you realize. Cause that's like you either get it off after you get it off the ground. Like, I don't think I've ever seen someone bail halfway through a deadlift. Like, I mean, it's like,
your knees.
Yeah. After you get about halfway, like it's coming up. I've seen some disgusting things happen to get it up, but it gets up. But yeah, so that first part, man, you're doing yourself a lot of good there, training that way. But
that's good to know.
I'd love to see you rip a barbell at a normal height. I bet you like add 20 pounds to your deadlift without even knowing it.
That'd be wild. Maybe one day.
All right, man. What is the best advice you have for all the garage gym athletes out there listening?
Kind of said it already. Just kind of have something on the calendar. Just something to work towards. Yes, be healthy and be in shape for family and life in general. But put something on the calendar, like you were saying, the accountability, something to work towards. And then invite people to have the accountability to keep moving forward, to keep improving yourself in business, in fitness, in family, and parenting, relationships, anything. Just have something on the calendar. And it doesn't need to be like a Spartan race or an event, even just like the bike packing trip I want to do. That means I need to be able to bike 50 miles every day on crushed stone. So I need to practice. I need to do that kind of stuff. I need to have something that will push me, every day, or have some in the future where I will be pushed every day to get to it and maybe not excel, but succeed at it.
I think that's great advice. All right. Well, I think that's all we have. Dominic, it was awesome having you on again, man. And I love having you as part of the community. It's always great to see your updates and see how things are going, training with broken ribs and everything else that you have going on, man. But always a pleasure and a blast talking to you today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And thank you guys for everything you do with the programming and the group and the community. I'm so glad I found it. It's great. It's fantastic. Thanks, it's amazing how far I've come just watching myself and then watching everyone else in the group. It's pretty cool to know people that are of the same mind.
Yeah, I love the community. It keeps me going on the days that I don't want to, that's for sure. Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.